Hello. In this particular video, I'll be sharing to you guys the basics in Excel. Um, I'll be discussing and I'll be sharing my technical know-how on Excel math basics. Meaning, in the series of minutes from now, I'll be giving you ideas on how to create formulas in Excel. Okay, and how is the behavior of mathematical operators when we are to use Excel as our uh, software applications, right? And there are actually five. If you can see my online notepad, there are actually five basic rules to be remembered as we discuss or as we tend to create Excel formula. Number one, um, all Excel formulas start with an equal sign, and this tells Excel that it is a formula. Okay, so when you are to add something in Excel, you have to start with an equal sign. That's number one basic rule. Then the second basic rule is this: the answer to the formula displays in the cell into which the formula is entered. All right. So meaning wherever is the place or whatever cell is the placement of the formula, that will also be the the placement of the result of a particular formula. All right. And then the third one is cells are actually referenced in a formula by their column row identifier. Alright? So a cell is an intersection between a column letter and a row number. For example, A1, cell B2. That's the third basic rule, because we will be using this A1, B2, and so on and so forth in formula formulations. The fourth one is the symbols for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division are plus, minus sign, asterisk, and division respectively. Okay? So similar to our calculator and even in programming. And then the last rule, basic rule, you do not have to enter capital letters in your formula. I'm referring to cell reference A1, B2, C3, or anything, right? You just have to enter small letter or capital letter. Excel will automatically capitalize them. All right. So those are actually the five basic rules in in Excel formula, and I would like to to say again that all formulas in Excel must start with an equal sign. Okay, that's part of the syntax in Excel formula. And then look at this. I'll be giving you some examples uh, in Excel, right? Now, when we are to add whatever is the content of A1, right, plus A6, meaning this formula adds the content of the cell. So if A1 contains 20 and your A6 contains 30, by way of equal A1 plus A6 means whatever is your A1, add it up by A6, then that's the result. Or yeah. So I'd love to share with you my Excel file, right? Here. If your A1 contains 20, right? And what was that example? A1 plus A6. All right. If your A1 is 20 and your A6 contains 30, and assuming you are to add the content of A1 and A2 and place it at say for example D6. So all you have to do is to point or click your mouse pointer in here between D and 6, right? And then type equal A1 plus A6. Part of the 5 basic rules, you need to capitalize letter A. Okay, you can either have small or capital, then Excel will do the capitalization of that. So A1 plus A6, you're good as trying to add the content of it. When you press equal sign, then the result is 50. And 50 is being placed at cell reference D6 because that is your formula also of your A1 plus A6. Now look at this. Look at the formula bar in here. Okay? When I did encode the formula A1 plus A6, I did use small letter A. But now look at my A1 plus A6. It's in capital letter. Okay? That's part of the function of Excel. Alright? Then another formula. A1 plus A2 plus A3. Alright? Excel, this is an Excel formula that adds the content of the three cells specified. A1, A2, and A3. So I'll give you an example. If your A1 is 20, and your A2 is 25, and your A3 is 30, right? When we are to add it up, assuming you want to place the total of the three cells value at A11, so all you have to do is to point your cell pointer at A11 and type formula A1 plus A2 plus A3. Okay? And when you press enter K, it then display the total of the contents of A1, A2, and A3 respectively. Right? So in Excel formula, when we are to get the sum, difference, or anything, you'll be using the cell reference, meaning the name of the cell. Alright? So that's it. And when I am going to change, okay, when I am going to change the content of A2 to 50, for example, please take note of our 90. It becomes 111. Why? Because in Excel, we have this auto recalculation. While you are trying to use cell reference as your formula, then at any time of the moment, if you tend to change the value or the content of any of those cell reference that you did use in adding or any formulas on it, automatically when you press enter K, the value or the total amount will also be changed. That's auto recalculation. Okay, so going back to our notepad and our example, we have this A3 minus A1. Now this particular Excel formula, we will get the difference between the content of A3 and A1. Alright, so A3 minus A1. Here, going back to Excel, A3 minus A1, if we are to place the difference of the two at B11, then we'll be typing the formula at B11 also. Equal A3 minus A1. And when we press enter K, we're good as we tend to get the difference between 45 and 20, and that is 25. And again, when we change the value or the content of A1, for example, we'll change it to 100. Look at the amount of the sum and write the difference. It will change also, right? 195 and negative 89. That's auto recalculation again, right? So that's it. When we are going to have this formula, okay, B2 times B3, this particular Excel formula will get the product of the content of B2 and B3. All right. So going back again, if your B1 contains 23 and your B2 is 40 and your B3 is 21. All right. When you are to get, okay, and the product between what was that example, B2 and B3, B2 and B3 meaning your 40 and 21, okay, and place it at, for example, day 11 here. So we'll say equal B3 times B1. Is that B1? No, B2. B2 times B3. So here, B2 times B3. And when I press enter K, I am good as trying to get the product between 40 and 21, and that is 840. Okay, and these three formulas, right, since these are actually trying to use the same cell references at any time of the moment when there are some changes on it, this will also be changed. All right, so that's it. And another example, G5 divided by A5. Okay, this is an Excel formula to get the quotient of whatever is the content of G5 by A5. All right, so here our A5 is 0, assuming our A5 is 30, for example. All right, and our, what is that, A5 and G5, assuming our G5 here, just for example, our G5 is 3, for example, right? So if we are to get the quotient of it and place it at G11, so we'll be pointing our mouse pointer at G11 and click, right? And start typing equal sign, then G5 divided by A5. And when you press enter K, the quotient will be displayed at cell reference G11. And when we are to interchange, instead of 30 at A1, we'll change it to 3. And instead of 3 at G5, we'll make it 30. When you press enter K, the quotient also change, right? We have this again and again, auto recalculation ability in Excel formula. Okay, so here equal G5 raised to the power of 2, this formula tells Excel to square the value of G5. All right, so in this particular example, our G5 contains 30, and if we want to square that value and place it at F11, now all you have to do is to point our mouse pointer at F11 and click. And here we are now at cell reference F11. We can then say equal G5 raised to the power of 2, right? So raised to the power of 2. The problem is we have to do some in here. Raised to the power of 2. I need to, okay, raised to the power of 2. So whatever is your G5, right, multiply it by the same. Our G5 is 30 raised to the power of 2, good as you're trying to multiply 30 by 30, and that's 900. Okay, so the operator that we use is the caret symbol. Okay, that's in programming also we have the same, in C programming we have the same operator. Now that's it, and we can even combine any mathematical operators, meaning in a particular expression, right, we can combine plus, minus, divide, and subtract. Okay, no problem with Excel. Okay, no problem with Excel. So here in this example, equal parenthesis, open parenthesis C1 plus C3, close parenthesis divided by C4. What does this mean? In Excel, if any expression is being enclosed with parentheses, that will be prioritized. So in this particular example, though under hierarchy of operation, division should be computed first prior to plus or addition. But because addition C1 plus C3 is being enclosed with parentheses, we have to, right? Excel will calculate first C1 plus C3. And whatever is that, then divide it by C4. Why? Because of parentheses. This is ruling in Excel formula. Okay? So, you'll give an example. Assuming our C1 contains 4, our C2 contains 6, our C3 contains, right, 8. And if we want to place the result of that formula that I have here in my notepad, right, this one, we'll place this at C14 here. So we'll type equal, then parenthesis C1 plus that C1 plus C3. Okay, C1 plus C3 parenthesis divided by C2, right? Is that C? So C4. I'm sorry, C4. Okay, C4. And when you press enter K, there's an error in here. Division by 0. Why? Because we don't have C4 value. And in real life, without using Excel, you cannot divide anything by 0. It is illegal. Same with Excel, if you tend to get C1 plus C3 and divided it by 0, then that's an error. So all you have to do is to put anything at C4. For example, C4 contains 10. And when we press enter K, the result is 1.2. Why 1.2? The formula says whatever is the content of C1, please look up here, formula bar. Whatever is the content of C1, add it by the content of C3. So 4 plus 8, that's 12. Divided by the content of C4, which is 10, the result is 1.2, right? So what was an error? When we tend to divide, what is an error when we tend to divide anything by 0? Div 0, meaning division by 0 violation, right? And here, my last example in Excel formula, I did try to, make use of some constant value. For example, 4 times parenthesis of A2 plus A5 plus 3. Now, here, in this particular expression, if without parentheses, 4 plus A2 should be calculated or get first prior to adding it by A5. But because of parentheses, A2 plus A5 must be computed first. And if you have the value of A2 and A5, then you can get, alright, multiply it by 4. And whatever is the result, add it by 3. That's the interpretation of this formula, okay? I'm sorry. So we'll try, applying copy and paste, Control C, and let's go to Excel. Say for example, we want to place the formula at if 14. So Control V, let's see, alright. So the result is 215. Why? Our A2 is 100 and our A5 is 3, that's 103. Times 4, that's how much? Right? Plus 3, the result is 215. Okay? So that's it. That's how powerful is Excel, right? So I hope I was able to explain the basics in Excel formula, right? Now here, mathematical order of operations. I did mention this a while ago. I did mention about the hierarchy of operations, and uh, this is the order. We have to do or calculate first anything within parentheses, right? And then followed by um, what is that? Exponentiation, the caret symbol. Like for example, a2 raised to the power of 2. That's it. If a2 is 30 raised to the power of 2, that's how much? 900. You're good as you're trying to multiply 30 by itself, right? That's exponents. So in hierarchy of operations, in particular mathematical expressions, if all the mathematical operators is in there, like parentheses, exponents, addition, division, multiplication, subtractions, this is the hierarchy of operation. First, Excel will get into the parentheses first, and then exponentiation then. And after the two, Excel will get then the division or the multiplication. And lastly, it will get the addition or subtractions, right? In our high school days, we call it IMDAS. But in Excel, we have this another way of, calculating or computing mathematical expressions. And for you to, to remember the flow, the hierarchy of operations, I have this. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. This is the flow. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Please, letter P stands for parenthesis, right? Excuse, letter E stands for exponentiation. My, letter M, stands for multiplication. Dear stands for division. Aunt, letter A, stands for addition. And Sally, letter S, stands for subtractions. More or less, that's the flow. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay? So, going back to our example a while ago, we have this parenthesis C1 plus C3 divided by C4. Alright? C1 plus C3 will be calculated first by Excel because of parentheses. And then whatever is that divided by C4. Okay? So, that's it. First, any math inside of parentheses is calculated. I'm sorry. On the second pass, right, all exponents are resolved or calculated. On the third, any multiplication or division is performed. And lastly, any addition or subtraction is performed. That's the hierarchy of operation. So again, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So, one last example. Here, look at this. Oh, another set of example. 4 plus 2 times 3, alright, based on the hierarchy of operation, we'll get 2 times 3 first before adding it by 4. Though in Excel, the process must start from left to right in a particular mathematical expression. And we are supposed to, by using this example, 4 plus 2 first, then multiply it by 3. But by the power of the hierarchy of operations, we have to ignore 4 plus 2 first. Okay? We have to get 2 times 3, which is 6, then add it by 4. Okay, that's observing the hierarchy of operations. Now, here, since the multiplication must be done first, okay, in this particular example, another example, okay, 4 plus 6, alright, is 10. Meaning, get the 2 times 3 first, then add the 4 value, and that's 10. Alright, so we'll try copying this one, and let's go to Excel. Here, we'll try to paste, alright, and then to make this a formula, we'll add equal sign. Let's see if the result is still 10. Alright, so the result is 10, meaning 2 times 3 first, then plus 4. Okay, so that's it. Another example, 20 divided by 5 plus 2 times 3. Okay, So in this particular expression, we have to divide 20 by 5 first, and that's 4. And after getting the 4, you cannot say 4 plus 2, because plus is lower than the next expression, which is 2 times 3 addition. So we'll get the 20 divided by 5 first, and then we'll get the 2 times 3 first, and then whatever is the results of the 2, add plus. Alright? So that's hierarchy of operation. We'll try to copy and paste in here. Go to Excel. Alright? And here, that's 20 divided by 5 plus 2 times 3. Alright? So we'll add equal sign to inform the Excel that this is a formula. I'm sorry. Okay, sir. Excel is, using slash as division. So 20 divided by 10. Look at that, right? The result is 10. Why? 20 divided by 5 is 4, plus 2 times 3, that's 6. 4 plus 6 is 10, right? Hierarchy of operations. This is the single line of the hierarchy operation. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay. So another example. Look at this. Parenthesis 2 times 4 plus, right? 3 raised to the power of 2 minus 8 divided by 4. How is the behavior of this formula? Parenthesis should be computed first. So 2 times 4 that's 8. Bring down plus, right? And get 3 raised to the power of 2, that's 9. Then bring down minus, okay? And then get 8 divided by 4, which is 2. Okay? So we'll try to export this amount to Excel. And let's see if we have this, right? Hierarchy of operations. When you press enter K, the result is 15. Why 15? 4 times 2 is 8, right? And then going back to example, here, I'm sorry. Right, okay. So here, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 raised to the power of 2, that's 9. So 8 plus 9 is how much? 17, okay, minus 8 divided by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 17 minus 2, that's 15. Okay, so are you following? Okay, so in Excel formula, we have to be familiar with the hierarchy of operations, right? To somehow come up with a correct formula, we have to be familiar with the behavior of each operator in Excel. All right. So I think that's it. These are just explanations of the thing that I did discuss a while ago. All right. So calculating percentage in Excel. Look at this. There are 2 ways to calculate percentages in Excel, and it depends on how the worksheet is being designed. All right. So I have here 2 options. Option number 1, display a percent sign in the cell. So look at this. To calculate a percentage and have the percent sign display in the cell, just enter the formula in the cell and format the cell as a percentage cell. Example, the formula in the cell C2 is A2 divided by A3. Alright? And if A2 is 50, take note of this, and your B2 is 100, then 50 divided by 100 is 0.5. And 0.5 we would normally display on the screen or in a particular cell. But if we format cell wherein 0.5 is being placed as percentage, the result is not 0.5 but 50% will display instead. Right? Now, let's go to Excel and we'll try to do some actualization. Right? So here, for example, when we are to divide equal, um, what is that? B, let us say for example, B1 divided by B3, for example, when we press enter K, the result is 1.0952318. All right, and to have a percent sign, all right, to have a percent sign, all you have to do is to look for home tab and look at the ribbon in here. We have this percent sign. Okay, so when we click this percent sign, good as we're trying to convert A3, the location of this amount, all right, A3, into a percent area. So we'll try clicking this one. See, the result now becomes 110%. Okay, that's option number one, right? According to our notes in here. Now, option number two. Look at this. Option number two. Column heading of percent, no percent sign in a cell. Now, let's just try to look at here. Perhaps you want a column labeled percent, and you don't want the percent sign to display. This is easy. Just multiply the formulas by 100 to display a number that equals the percentage number. The normal way of doing things in percentage. Because when you are to get the percent, right? The percent amount of that particular sale, you'll have to multiply it by 100, right? So, because percent of course is, synonymous to 100. So here, what is the formula? B1 divided by B3. So when you say B1 divided by B3, right? The result is okay, 1.095238. Now, to convert this one into percent sign, we have to click this percent, right? Command button under the home tab ribbon, and it will become 110%. Or you can just divide it, right, without converting a particular cell reference into a percent area, and just multiply it by how much? 100. And when you press enter K, it becomes 109. So since we have this, right, so what is that, 4 decimal places, so I think we can use this command button in here to decrease the right, the decimal, and now it becomes, right, 110 without percent sign, of course. And all you have to do is to just type percent here in the heading. So that's it. There are two ways to use, percent there are two ways, right, to calculate percentage in Excel, right? By way of changing the format of a cell reference into a percent area, and by way of multiplying it by 100 points, right? So, all formulas, mathematical formulas, are all possible in Excel. Right? So Excel is so powerful, right? So powerful. And the final thought is this. Remember that when the contents of the data cells change, Excel will automatically recalculate the answer for you. So we have this auto recalculation. The moment a cell reference is being changed, and I'm referring to the value, when you press enter K, the total amount will also be changed right away. That's auto recalculation. That's how powerful is Excel. And the second final thought is, when performing calculations, the resulting number may at times be quite large. Sometimes it goes beyond the limit of a cell reference, because normally by default, Excel cell reference can only hold eight characters or digits, but sometimes it exceeds, right? And If the number is too large to fully display in the cell, you may see a series of sharp signs. And if you're trying to, to do some formula making in Excel, and when you press enter key, you can have this so many sharp signs. The meaning of that is the amount of your formula is too much for a particular cell reference, and you can either extend the width of that particular cell reference or decrease the decimal um, the decimal points. Okay, same thing that we did when we tend to get the percentage. We try to use, right, the increase and decrease of the decimal um, places. All right, so that's it for Excel basics, Excel formula making. I hope I was able to to discuss anything in here. All right, and I hope I was able to share my technical know-how in basic formula making as far as um, Excel is concerned. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you can share this video to your friends, to your relatives who are trying to learn Excel online, right? And do some clicking of the subscribe button just to increase my subscribers. Thank you so much for now. God bless you. God is good.